You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Supernaturelle show. You've got the pleasure of my own company this evening because poor Gemma, she's poorly, so she's lost her voice. So get well, Gemma, and I hope you're listening anyway, because I don't think having a sore throat affects your ears, does it? But no, get well, Gem, anyway. And to be honest, I'm a bit nervous that she's not with me tonight because we kind of bounce off each other, don't we? But anyway, we've got an awesome show lined up for you this evening. We have Matthew, Fiole and Kasey Boatright from Gateway Paranormal. Now, these guys are relatively new to the UK scene. Not many people have heard about them, and they've got some amazing things both coming up in the future. They've done quite a lot of past experience, like evidence gathering and investigation, so it's going to be awesome to talk to those guys. And they are over in America at the moment, so it is 4:00 in the afternoon, so just a little bit they are working still, so it's great to have them on the show this evening. But Phantasmic Paranormal this week, we have our Halloween special at Ordsall Hall in Manchester. We have 4 tickets left available if any of you want to come along and join Gemma and myself and Rachel, who has also broken her foot this week in Barcelona, so not a way to go. But yeah, get well soon, Rach, as well. So the Phantasmic girls just keep dropping like flies. I think I need to kind of make a wish on the full moon this evening and make sure that I don't injure myself or anything else. But anyway, I've had enough bad luck for the past week. So you are listening to the Supernaturelle show, and you can follow us on Parasearch Radio. So jump onto the chat room if you want to ask the boys a question. We are on Facebook as well, and we are on Twitter. So I just want to say good evening to Kasey. Matthew is going to be joining us shortly, but he's just out and about at the moment. So we're going to have a nice chat to Kasey. So how are you, Kasey?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. I just want to say thank you for joining us this evening. I say us because obviously I'm always used to having Gemma here, but she's not on tonight. But so yeah, you guys are not very well known over here, are you?
No, I would say we're probably not. We got a couple followers that are out of the United States, but it's trying to branch out to those the other countries, and we've got a couple friends that traveled out to Germany a few months ago that investigated out there. So I'm just trying to broaden my horizons with our following and follow some more teams out that way.
Yeah, I think that's good though, isn't it? That you can kind of network with teams across the pond, like, you know, like we chat. I chat to Matthew all the time. We've got lots of mutual friends in common as well. So it is great, isn't it? Just to kind of network.
Oh, absolutely. It's great to see how other teams do things, and especially to see teams from different countries, how they do things, because, you know, nobody investigates the same way for the most part. And it's always refreshing to see new stuff coming out of anywhere. So the more we can learn from each other, the better off we are.
Yeah, that is true though, isn't it? There's a lot of teams out there who work so differently and have different attributes as well that they bring to the team. Because like when I saw you guys on Facebook, you're very, very, how would I describe you? Very, I don't want to say a motorcycle clan, but you're very, very hip.
That's pretty close to what it is right there.
So, yeah.
We're 6 dudes. I mean, most of us are covered in tattoos. And to be honest, I mean, a lot of people look at us and like, they don't want to approach us because, I mean, I can understand why not, but you know, we're all good dudes. We all have families and wives, and we all have full-time jobs, and we ghost hunt. But I can definitely see the biker club aspect of that all the pictures we take.
But I think that's good though, because it kind of sets you apart from quite a lot of the paranormal teams, like obviously like the Ghost Adventures guys and, you know, people like that. It does set you apart, doesn't it?
No, absolutely. Paranormal investigating has really come out into the community now as something that's not something weird to do. You know, when I was growing up, a lot of the people that I knew that ghost hunted, in all honesty, were weird people.
Yeah.
Like just kind of like hung out in their parents' basements, and like you probably wouldn't want to hang out with them alone. But now it's become like an accepted thing. I mean, there's TV shows, there's people making legitimate livings off of it, and nobody can say it's a hobby anymore. It can turn into a very, very good lifestyle.
Yeah, it's great because I mean, like you said, it's, you know, growing up and being involved in the paranormal for so long, you were kind of outcast a little bit as being the geek, as being the weirdo and things like that. I mean, I know growing up, you know, I had quite a lot of experiences, but it's kind of, it is accepted nowadays. And, you know, my work colleagues call me Casper as my nickname. And, you know, it is quite funny. But how did you manage to get into the paranormal? You know, did you fall into it like many people do, or have you always had a passion?
No, I actually, you know, growing up, I watched like Ghost Hunters because that was the first show that came out, and I liked the show. And but to be honest with you, I didn't really have a calling for it or anything until Matt Fiole and I have been friends since 6th grade in middle school, and we kind of lost touch. He went the family route when we graduated. I went to the Army. When I came back, we kind of rekindled our friendship, and we went and saw the remake of It, Stephen King's It, and we were outside just hanging out, and he was like, "Dude, we should start a ghost hunting group." And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds cool." Did not think that it was going to take off the way it has, and ever since the very first investigation, I've been hooked. That's all I think about. That's all I do.
Okay, so do you guys run events, or are you just a private investigation team?
We started running events this year. We've had 3 this year. We actually have one coming up Friday and Saturday night in our hometown. So
is that the funeral? Is that the funeral? I think I saw something on Facebook about it.
Yes, ma'am. Our team's historian, Kendall Masters, she runs an old historic home called the Historic Rosemont, and they're going to do a mock funeral reenactment of a family member that passed away there, and
right.
It's supposed to bump up that activity real good. And we're going to have people come out there all night long and investigate alongside with us and just hang out with us.
Wow, so that's very, very similar to the Singapore theory, isn't it? Where you reenact something and you actually try and stir up the paranormal activity by doing that. That's amazing. So yeah. Is that something that the guys in America can go and do? They can just turn up to, or?
Oh, absolutely. We know we're always open to have people come out there and hang out with us. We try to keep our events affordable because I know a lot of these big companies that are throwing events now, they're selling tickets for $100 to $130, and the normal everyday person doesn't want to drop $130 to go sit in the cold and the dark.
Yeah,
we keep those.
Yeah, we have that same problem here in the UK as well. People maximizing on profiteering and things like that. And, it is sad, isn't it? I mean, obviously, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree with you. I think it's, I know that people have to make money, but all the money that we make from events goes straight into equipment or longer trips, stuff like that. I know that a lot of these bigger companies they have guys that are on TV and stuff like that, and that's great. But a lot of people don't realize there's smaller teams that aren't on TV that are doing the exact same events, the exact same places for 75% less money than what they're doing it for.
Yeah.
We have the exact same equipment as they do. We do all the same stuff they do, and people just don't realize that they can get the exact same event without 120 people there and have a lot more. I'd say probably a lot more fun.
Yeah. That's one thing that really pains me is when you have, so many people on events and you can't hear yourself think. People are trying to be quiet and trying to listen out for, the footsteps that you're going to hear on an event, or, whispers and things like that. And with 120 people on those, you're never, ever going to capture anything real hard evidence, are you?
Well, I mean, no, but it's the same situation as if somebody comes out. If I'm with a group of 10 friends and somebody asks me to sing a song, I've got no problem doing that. But if I'm in front of a group of 120 people and someone asks me to sing a song, I'm not going to do that. Same thing with spirits. You got 10 people, they're going to, you have a better chance of catching some fantastic evidence compared to 120 people. They don't want to come out for that.
No, I just think, obviously, just in general, obviously, we as a company, we only tend to take around about 10 to 15 people on our events because we like to keep it very small. And like you say, we don't make any profit. Any profit that we make goes into booking the deposit for the next venue and so on. And obviously reinvesting back into the equipment that we use. So going on to equipment, what is your most favorite piece of equipment that you've got?
Ooh, I would say I'm a huge fan of the portal with the spirit box, or we've started using Dave Miller's ITC Legion apps, which when I first started using those, I was a huge skeptic because, it's a cell phone and stuff along those lines. But the responses we've got, the fact that some of these apps have said, my full name, Matt's full name, the other guys on our team's full name, our wife's names, our kids' names, just wild stuff like that. It's become an absolute game changer when it comes to like spiritual communication. Spirit boxes are great. You can never lose the old faithfuls, but I like to say you got to grow with the times.
Yeah, I think you're right with that as well. But you said you were skeptical first of all about the app. What prompted you to be like that?
I think it was just more of like the paranormal field in America, which it may be the same where you guys are at, is very, very split right now. We have the old school guys that want to stick with the recorders, the spirit boxes, and dowsing rods, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And you have new school guys like our team that's coming out with apps and these, we're making these new proximity devices that are going off, and people are like, that doesn't make any sense. And it's just, when I first started dealing with it, to me, it was almost like it was a game, like the app was a game. It would just say random words, and you would try to scare you. But the first time I heard my name come through an app, and it was my full name, and I said, okay, well, that should not be in a word bank. And then the same thing, with Matthew Fiole. The same thing happened to him.
See, that's strange because obviously, because the Echo Box. Yeah, the Echo Box is very similar, isn't it? So I don't know whether you guys have used that over there.
Matt, have we used Echo Box? Matt Fiole just rolled in, so he's here now.
All right, okay. Hey, Matt.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for joining us. I understand, obviously, you've been working, so I really appreciate you taking the time out to come and chat with me.
Oh, no problem at all.
So we've just been chatting to Kasey about how Kasey got into the paranormal, whether he fell into it or, how he was interested in it. So I'm going to ask you, because obviously you guys work together, you obviously, do the paranormal investigations together. So how did you come into the paranormal?
So starting from a child, like most people in this field, had experience in my home. I was probably nine years old, and woke up one night with a bathroom door slamming open and what looked like 7 or 8 foot tall shadow person standing in my bathroom. And I took off running and told my parents, and they kind of laughed it off or whatever. And I was like, well, I'm trying to move my room because that was terrifying. And I moved across the hallway, and everything was cool. I mean, I heard noises here and there, but then one night I woke up and saw a little girl standing in the hallway, and I was like, what is going on here? So I was terrified, and but I hit the libraries up. I start reading about it, trying to find any kind of books on it that I had. And shortly after that, I guess, would be when Ghost Hunters Taps started, coming out on TV. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not that crazy. And I started watching that and really getting into it. And then shortly after that, I'm investigating, like, my friend's house. We didn't have any equipment, but we were up there asking questions, and we went to a couple cemeteries and stuff like that. But after all that happened, I was just, hooked on it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And now our team is just constantly going to darker and darker locations and trying to find the most dark history we can find and put ourselves in these locations for 24, 36, 48 hours, just an entire weekend, because we work during the week. But the entire weekend we try to sleep in these locations and, go all out on the investigation side of it.
See, that's amazing, because you've just mentioned about going to the dark places. What sort of places would you say that you're investigating?
Well, we just left Monroe House maybe a week ago, 2 weekends ago. And that place, they said the land is supposedly cursed, but there's been a lot of family deaths throughout the years, and just really weird deaths. Yeah, really weird deaths. Somebody dying from a carriage wheel that hit them. Weird, like, rare diseases that never happened. Like, just all kinds of weird stuff. But then they uncover that the foundation was built on top of a cemetery, and there's been, like, occult practices in the building, and now they're using it as a museum that has haunted objects all over the place. And that place was pretty crazy.
Okay, so that's the Monroe House in Indiana, is it?
Yes.
Right, okay. Yeah, because I think they were saying that they had bodies buried in the cellar or something, didn't it?
Yes, that is correct. They had all that boarded up when we went, but our historian actually found out that there is a cemetery on the property, and the foundation was built on top of it.
She sent us a 20-page report on it.
Wow. So obviously you guys have investigated that house. So what evidence did you capture from there?
Well, we did this investigation a little bit differently. It was not a go and investigate. We had an experiment we wanted to try with one of our buddies, Jason Emmerich. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Black Mirrors, but we decided to do a Black Mirror session to try to bridge the Monroe House and another home called the Malik House, which is home to Malik Demon. Where were they at? Ohio. So we had a Black Mirror in Ohio in the Malik House. And we had a Black Mirror in the Monroe House in Indiana. And essentially we were trying to get spirits from Monroe House to communicate with Jason in Ohio, and we were trying to communicate with spirits from Ohio and Indiana, and it actually ended up working.
Wow, I would really love to listen to that. If you've captured voices and things like that, that would be immense evidence. Would that be?
Check out the YouTube video Monroe House Black Mirror session. We just posted it up on our YouTube page. It's pretty incredible, and we were getting stuff coming out of the haunted objects that were speaking out to us, and our camera mic actually picked up a couple EVPs during that whole session with us using the portal, and it drained everybody.
We also got to give them the pre-warning that we're not using the Ouija board. It's a coffee table.
Right. It looks like our mirror is sitting on top of a Ouija board. That is actually a coffee table that has like a Ouija board print on it. We do not use that, but it was just the mirror, and it was. Now there is something attached to that mirror.
We have that mirror locked up now.
Yeah, we have it locked up in a blessed box.
Right. Okay. So you've just mentioned something's attached itself to the mirror. Do you guys actually protect yourselves before you go into these places?
Absolutely, we do. We have guys. Some guys wear protection stones. Some guys have Saint Benedict pendants and crosses and rosaries and
their own rituals. They do.
But we all do a group prayer before we start, and it's really a brotherly bond, I guess. We're all ready to go to war at that point. And afterwards, we do another prayer. We also sage at the end as well.
Yeah, we absolutely do look after each other. I mean, we're all, like I said, I've known Matt since 6th grade, middle school. Another guy on our team, Matt Wyatt, was the best man at my wedding. I've known Dustin Biggs for 15 years. I've known Wes Neal for 8 months now. He's a guy that looks like Jonathan David Horn. He's also the newest member to our team, and he's been fantastic. And Ben Smith I just met, but Ben Smith and Matt Fiole have known each other for a good while.
So it does sound like you guys are a one big happy family, doesn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We all give each other crap all the time, and
it's like...
Yeah, it's like a fraternity house, pretty much.
Yeah, the girls and I are like that, though. I mean, sometimes on investigations, we find that laughter sometimes and just being stupid or, just kind of not being too serious kind of gets that energy up and generates the evidence that we want to capture. And, some of the best evidence that we've caught is when we've been prattling about and, it's unbelievable. So have you guys ever captured anything underneath when you guys have been like messing about and things? Because I do capture quite a lot of your live streams and you guys do, you probably don't understand this, but you guys banter quite a lot. So, you kind of play with each other. And so.
Yeah, we've actually, I don't know what language I'm allowed to use on here, but I'm going to keep it G-rated. We were all investigating and giving one of our former members a little bit of crap. His name was Tommy, and the spirit started calling him the
female anatomy.
Yes. The bad word for the female anatomy is,
and we all just started laughing at him and calling him that the rest of the night.
Oh no, that's
and then he quit the team.
That's so Kasey was telling me about the funeral reenactment, Matt, that you're going to be hosting on Friday night.
Yes.
So how did that actually come about?
So our historian runs the historic Rosemont, which is the location that we're going to be doing this at. And she had put this event on last year. And sorry, we're still at work. We have all kinds of people knocking on the doors and stuff. But, she had done this event last year, and then she said there was lots of activity after she did the funeral reenactment. And so I was like, what would be a cool idea is if we were able to do an investigation afterwards. And she said, yeah, that'd be awesome. So we decided we're going to let that activity build up, and we're going to investigate after the reenactment, see how it goes, because that location is very cool. It was a part of the Civil War, and there's lots of family deaths in the house. I mean, we've caught a lot of great evidence. I mean, there's a video on our YouTube page where my shirt gets pulled, and you can physically see it get pulled, and that comes from that same location. So there was slave history there. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Obviously, when we were talking just then about the Black Mirror experiment that you did, and you said that you don't use the Ouija boards and things like that, is there any reason why you don't use like the Victorian method?
The Ouija board is, I'm actually about to give you a different answer than you're probably expecting. I have no problem with the Ouija board. I myself am not opposed to it, but I think there's more equipment out there now than there needs to be us trying a Ouija board. Now, I'm not going to say I'm not ever going to use a Ouija board, or I wouldn't use a Ouija board, but I prefer to use a spirit box or some ITC device, or, you know, stuff like that is more modern, but that's just my personal beliefs, I guess.
Yeah, I just think science in general has just kind of come on leaps and bounds, hasn't it? With ITC and, you know, all the new different experiments with the new gadgets and the new portals and geo boxes and things like that. It is just Absolutely. With the apps as well, like with Kasey saying he was skeptical about using an app. I mean, the girls and I, we've used the Echo Vox before now, but I've always been very skeptical about the apps. So it will be interesting to try and have a look and see what apps kind of work for us as a group. But we'll have a look at that and we'll take that away. But like you say, I mean, do you guys use any Victorian methods or anything like that, or are you just generally like more 21st century?
Well, generally we're more 21st century, but we do try the older methods. I mean, the Black Mirror is incredibly way before our time. I mean, Nostradamus and so many more before him. I mean, back in I want to say our historian told us like the 1500s even. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's the Black Mirror experiment is very similar to scrying, isn't it? It's the the Victorian method of scrying. So, you know, with a dark mirror in a dim lit room, it's a great way of communicating. But yeah, I mean, you as a person, Matt, anyway, we know Stephanie Hutnick quite well, and she's said to me that you're quite an open person, so you kind of delving into more of the kind of mediumistic way. Is that correct? Somewhat.
I would call myself very in tune with the spirit world. I personally won't label myself anything, but there's been plenty of times where I've been pretty spot on with some things as far as a location or something I'm thinking about during an investigation. It's just there for me. You know, there's certain people. I think everyone is able to tap in somewhat to that ability, but there's obviously people that are more in tune than others.
Mm-hmm. So, in your own personal experience, have you, obviously you went to Steph to kind of get a little bit of information from her. How are you personally developing yourself?
I've done some meditation stuff quite a bit, really focused in on energies of the building or myself or maybe even others, but I solely use that for investigating purposes. I don't want it to sound bad, but I'm not here to like try to give a reading on a person or something like that. I'm not saying that I even could, but very very much so I can pick up on energies in a haunted location, and I've kind of backed off of that quite a bit, but it still comes to me. I mean, Kasey's sitting here right next to me, and he can probably attest to the fact of stuff I've said. Or even in the car ride to Monroe House, we just found out about the cemetery. Before that, I had said I bet it was built on a cemetery.
Yeah.
So do you guys actually research the locations that you're going to first?
Yes, we have our historian, Kendall Masters, and she
is fantastic.
Yeah, she's fantastic. She has I don't know what they all are, but she has 3 or 4 degrees, and very, very smart. I mean, she's had a published book. So she really knows what she's doing, and she loves doing it, and she'll give us 20 or 30 page reports at a time. And it's a lot of information, but definitely worth it.
That's good that you do have a historian. So whereabouts do you guys investigate over in the US? Because I know a lot of people are going to be asking me whereabouts you're from, and whereabouts they can find you. And usually what happens is we usually put something on Facebook afterwards just to say, why not check these guys out? So where can people find you if they want to attend any of your events?
Well, we all live in Middle Tennessee in the Gallatin, Portland area. We do a lot of investigations around Tennessee, but this year we've started branching out to obviously Monroe House, Ashmore Estates, which is in Illinois, Hellsmore Dam, Wilden Manor, Buchanan House, Rosemont. We got a couple of new ones that we're working on that we can't really say. We say Stonewall. We got a couple of historic homes in Gallatin that. Oh shit! My bad. Pretty much all over the South. I mean, essentially anywhere that we can go in a weekend, we will go.
You guys mentioned the Ashmore Estates. I know that there was a clip from there. Do you want to just explain to our listeners what you actually experienced there?
What is it?
The Ashmore Estates.
Well, I don't know which clip you're talking because we have a bunch, but I know the one that I remember the most is when I got the crap scared out of me by a mannequin.
It said there was thoughts on the clip from the Ashmore Estates, and the team were upstairs. However, they were at the opposite end. They were at the opposite end during this, and there's a clip with a blue, a blue light that's in.
Light. Got you. Yes, Matt, you analyze that.
So, essentially, during that clip, you're correct. There was a team upstairs on the opposite end, and the light that you see click on is a motion light. So you see it click on a couple times, but then on that last click, you see a shadow block it off briefly. And we're not going to say it was full-blown paranormal, but it was definitely weird because there was nobody over there.
Okay. What's your best piece of evidence that you've captured?
I would say if you're looking at a paranormal thing as a skeptic, I would say Matt getting his shirt pulled, just based on the fact that you can't really argue that. There's no way for us to fake a shirt pull the way it got pulled and all that stuff. That's obviously on our YouTube and stuff. That is by far my favorite piece of evidence we've ever captured. We've got a ton of responses. We've got a ton of EVP sessions that have been fantastic. We've got a lot of good stuff, but that right there to me was 100%. No way you can fake it. That's paranormal.
That's interesting though, isn't it? I mean, when you're out and about, you usually tend to feel like you've been touched or you've had something like your hair pulled. My hair is so long, and then usually I'll say to Gemma, did you just pull my hair? And she's like, no, I haven't. And usually we feel like children and things like that when we're in locations, depending on which location we're at. But it is amazing, isn't it, how spirit do actually interact with us when you're on investigations.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a amazing feeling to interact with something that realistically you should not be able to interact with, to see it and feel it touch you, or pull someone's shirt or hair, or say your name or your family's names, or just communicate with you in general. It's a fantastic feeling, and I think that's the thing that draws everybody in, is the fact that you were communicating with the unknown.
Yeah. Have you guys ever heard anybody speak to you in obviously real time rather than hearing it on an EVP or anything like that?
Oh yeah, it happens.
We have some of them caught on camera.
Yeah, we've got a lot that you can see our reactions when it happens. We say, "Holy crap! Did you just hear that? We heard this," and then we'll play the tape back, and that's exactly what it said.
Because usually what you find is when you're in a group of people, usually a couple of people will hear it, but the others won't.
Yeah.
I think
for us, normally in a group, I mean, we normally investigate with two people at a time, whether it be Matt and me, and then whoever else on our team. Matt, Wyatt, and Wes are pretty in tune together, and Biggs and Ben. But it's amazing when you have six people together and you all hear the same thing.
Because I know when we were investigating back in 2016 in the Oast House, there was only myself and a really good friend of mine, Barry, who heard something. And it was one of the production team actually said, "Are you a male?" And both Barry and I heard a female say no. And nobody else heard that apart from me and Barry. And we were all sat around the same table. And we listened to it back because Barry had a chest camera on, and you can hear her as clear as day. She says no, and you see everybody looking around. And I said, "Did you hear her say that?" And Barry was like, "Yeah, I heard it," but nobody else did.
Cool.
I found that if you catch I don't know if this is every time, but for us, if you catch more than just a word out loud, like we've gotten yes and no out loud a bunch, but if you catch something trying to say a statement, it almost sounds like a tape going in fast forward. It's very hard to understand, but you can hear it, like whatever noise it's making. But we've caught that a few times as well.
Yeah, I mean, we investigated St. Catherine's house, which was it was an old rectory back in the day, and it was left to the daughter of a reverend, and she was the only daughter of the family. And when she married, she had to marry somebody who would take on the bank's surname. So she obviously loved the house that much. So when she married, her husband took on the bank's name, and they had 10 children together. And she's still in the house even now. The caretaker was actually sat underneath the main staircase, and he cleans that place so it's absolutely spotless and it's pristine on the inside. And he smelt lavender, and she actually walked down the stairs and said to him, "Good job." And, that night when I was talking about it, it was unbelievable. There was a girl at the side of me called Sam, and I heard a tapping in one of the corners, and I said, "Oh, come on, let's go and have a look." And I said, "Oh, she's always here." And as soon as I said that, we both heard a female voice, and she said, "I'm here." And that's all she said. And this girl literally jumped out of her skin, and I was like sat there going, "Did you hear that?" And she said, "I heard it. I'm so scared. I need to get out of here." And then all of a sudden, the two girls behind us went, "Why? What did you hear?" So there was just the two of us that heard it, and nobody else heard it.
Wow, that's pretty cool right there.
Yeah, we've got some pretty cool locations over here, but you guys have got some immense locations over there as well.
Yes, we do. We have lots of ones that we're going to try out this coming up year that are supposedly even crazier than the ones that we've been doing. So it's just constantly researching and trying to find these locations with crazy history.
Do you guys hook up with any other teams then from like around the United States or anywhere else?
We keep our circle small. We have Paranormal Den and Richard Wade and his dad, Rich Wade. which is R2 Paranormal. But we've learned, I don't know how the paranormal field is where you guys are at, but with us, you really got to watch your back in the paranormal field in the United States. There's a lot of preaching of para-unity here, but a lot of people are snakes in the grass. They'll come to you and say, hey, man, we want to do this with you and do this. And as soon as they get whatever they want, whether it be more followers or just in general to get into a location they wouldn't be able to go by themselves, they just drop you or they'll start running their mouth at you. And
we do have quite a lot of people who talk of para-unity, which to be quite frank, I mean, we're like you guys. We keep our circle quite tight. We've got some amazing friends within the community that I've worked with previously on shows. And obviously Barry, we've got Alex and Mickey and Eamon, who belong to another well-known show. And, you know, obviously Gemma's worked on that show as well. But it is that sort of thing. You find people in the industry that you can trust. And when you actually trust those people, you know you can trust them with anything. Whereas there have been instances in the past where, you know, you try and talk to people about certain things and they do what you said. They run their mouths and, you know, it's not great. I mean, the UK is very, very small anyway. But there are thousands of teams out there and, you know, teams who are doing exceptionally well. You know, we've got a few new kids on the block that are coming up and it's so nice to see and it's so nice to give them that little bit of a helping hand. But like you say, there is always somebody wanting to piggyback somebody else, isn't there?
Yeah, it seems to really be the old heads in the field, like the guys that have been doing this for 20-something years. And, you know, we're not here to argue with anybody. We're not here to start any drama, but it seems to, anytime something happens with us, we got these guys that have been in the field for 20 years that think they're a celebrity when they're not. I mean, they leave their small town and nobody knows who they are.
Yeah. Do you think that's just insecurity on their parts though?
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. They see it on TV and they want it so bad, they'll be the first ones to talk bad about the guys that made it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly getting grief for, you know, especially recently, been posting a lot of evidence and just tons of people just trying to say it's, you know, how could that even be possible or blah, 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 blah. And
that's the nature of the beast, though, isn't it? I mean, we are in the paranormal and there are going to be always the haters out there who actually sit there and say, that's not real. You know, we had a spate not long ago of people actually debunking everything and ripping some paranormal investigators to bits by showing how they've done certain things. And, you know, it was like the paranormal police, so to speak. And I always think to myself, if you're going to do that, then karma is a bitch, isn't it? And karma does come round pretty sharpish.
Absolutely, it does. We've really only been involved with one thing, and it was somebody put some evidence out, and it was blatantly faked. So
and all we did was share it.
All we did was share it. We let everybody know this is what we found, this is what we saw, and it ended up going a little bit farther than that with some people, but we did our part. There's no need for anybody faking evidence in this field.
No,
we all know that you go to a location and there's a good chance nothing's going to happen.
I think that's what most people want, though. I mean, like, I watch these shows on TV at the minute and I'm cringing I'm sat here thinking, you know, crowbars being thrown and, you know, things like that that just doesn't happen. I mean, it takes an enormous amount of energy for a spirit to move things, to actually throw a crowbar off camera. Really?
Yeah, especially off camera where you can't see it.
Exactly. Everything always happens off camera, though, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
I think one piece of evidence.
Which one?
the one we shared was blatantly right in front of the camera, so that was like, wow. Yeah. But we'll leave that one alone.
I like how risky you guys are, though, sometimes, because I'm usually the one who kind of me and Gemma will speak about something and I'll be like, but what about this? And what about that? And then she's like, I can see, because we video called Gemma and I when we're doing the radio show, and I can see her face and she's like, no more, Joe, no more. But I like to delve, and I like to understand people's, why people get into this industry, and why, and what actually makes those people tick. And what I'm finding now is there are an awful lot of people out there who believe the same as what we believe. If you're going to fake activity within the paranormal, you're going to get found out. There are people out there who are a lot cleverer than these people who want to fake evidence, and it's very, very sad. And it's just, I don't know, I think because obviously I am a medium, and it's, when you say things to people and they say, how could you possibly know that? And it's like, I have no clue. I don't have an idea as to why I know that, but I know it. And it's when people sit there and say, oh, you can't read me. Things like, things like that. It's Sometimes I think, I kind of doubt myself sometimes, but now listening to other people's experiences and how people know things about venues and things, it kind of makes me believe a little bit more.
Absolutely. I'll never be one to downplay somebody, especially if they have a gift. But that's the other thing with the paranormal field is
everybody thinks they have one.
Yeah, everybody says I'm a medium, but then you say things like, "Hey, well, tell me if you can get a reading on this," and it's the same mundane answers repeatedly over and over.
Yeah, very general, isn't it? There's no like concrete like words or concrete names or anything like that kind of come out. And it is sad that people tend to be like that, but like I say, people do get found out, don't they?
Very quickly too.
Yeah, very, very quickly. So you guys,
I've been around with everybody, and it's. We still talk to our very good friends in the field and stuff, and there's a select few of them. I wouldn't say I've stopped talking to everybody completely, but there's been a lot of people that we have just been like, yeah, we're done with this. It's too, because we've kind of gotten to that point in our paranormal journey that we just don't care really. If people are liking what we're doing, that's awesome. If people don't like it, that's cool too. We're just out here
doing your own thing. Yeah. And I think that's good, because in this day and age, you have to do your own thing, because like I said, there are too many haters, aren't there? People don't like to see people doing well, and that is the only reason why people get so insecure and hate on other people, is because you are doing well.
Yeah, that's pretty much it right there.
We definitely try.
So you guys have got some exciting plans in the future. Obviously, we can't discuss quite a lot of that, but I know you guys. I've known of you guys for a fair few months now, and needless to say, I'm excited about what you have in the pipeline. Your events, obviously, over the weekend, the Halloween weekend. Are you guys heading out on Wednesday next week?
Yeah, we're going to head out to work, unfortunately. We're going to wake up early and go to work, but it's actually, we're coming up on our slow time of the year. We try to take a little bit of November and December off for our family's sake, because we do so much throughout the year. When it gets to the point where it's the most family-driven time of the year, we try to, about November 15th is when we're kind of done investigating for the physical year, and then once January starts back up, we're back at it. Hardcore
Even
again.
though we have an investigation December 1st, but
yeah, that don't matter though.
We did this. Now, when we say we're busy, like, I know some people are like, oh, okay, that's cool, but we've done 50 investigations, and we've done 5 public events that we've hosted, and that doesn't include residential homes that we've done either.
That doesn't include the other stuff that comes along with it, with the review and the making the episodes and the social media pushes and all that stuff. I mean, it's
time consuming, isn't it? It's really time consuming, and especially if you work as well, and you both have families, it is difficult for you to kind of spend quality time with them.
Absolutely, it is.
And what do your families think about you doing this?
My wife supports me 100%. When we first got together, I was still in the Army, so she was used to me being gone all the time and stuff like that. She just thinks of it as at least I'm not gone for 12 months. I'm only gone for 2 days.
Yeah.
My wife's
good.
cool with it. My kids think it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, I was telling her about Waylon's shirt.
Yeah, Waylon, my son, that's what he wanted for his birthday, so we got it for him. But my wife, sometimes she's looking at it like, I talk about it all the time and my different theories and different ideas, and sometimes she's like, all right, let's talk about something different now. So I have to do that every once in a while, but other than that, she's all for it.
It is good though, and it always helps when you've got a supportive partner though, doesn't it, as well? It's, I was married, and my ex-husband didn't support anything that I did within the paranormal and made me doubt myself and things like that. But my new partner, he is unbelievable. I don't really push it on him, but the first time we kind of met, I actually mentioned his younger brother. And how weird is this? I said to him, he said, "Oh, my sister-in-law's due a baby," and I said, "Oh, October the 16th." And he went, "What?" And I said, "October the 16th. The baby was born on the 17th of October." That's just like, he's like, "I can't believe he said that." And it was like, well, it's madness sometimes.
Yeah, I saw you post a picture today of I think it was him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. He's in the Navy as well, so he's got quite a lot in there. When you say about going away and things like that, yeah, he's in the Navy, so it's all good. And I'm sat here smiling like a Cheshire cat again.
I know I saw you today, and I was like, "Damn, she looks happy." Now you're a Cheshire cat. I like that.
Thank you guys. And yeah, I always do like a little bit of Facebook stalking on everybody's profiles, and it is so nice to see when people are happy, especially when you've had some crappy luck over the past few weeks, and then all of a sudden it's just, there's just that one, it's just that one thing, isn't it, that can kind of make you smile and you think, yeah, life is good.
Absolutely. That's all that matters to me is happy life, happy wife, or it's happy wife, happy life.
That's what they always say, don't they? So what do you guys? We've got a full moon here tonight, actually, which is really lovely. It's so big and so bright. Do you guys believe in any sort of the witchcraft type of things? Do you know anybody who practices anything like that in your team?
Not on our team, but we've met some people that do dabble in it, I guess. But my thing is, hey, do it. Do it. Appeases you, I guess. I'm not gonna say it's not real or anything. I've just had ever been around doing it, I guess. But
one of my favorite movies is Hocus Pocus. So.
Oh my God, I love that show. It's so good, isn't it? It was like my friend Brooklyn from Florida. She Snapchatted me the other night, and she was watching the 25th anniversary, and it was all the dancing and things like that. She was like, "Am I the only one watching this?" And I was like, "If I was in the US, I definitely would be watching that, because Hocus Pocus is an amazing film."
It's one of my favorites, and my wife, every time I watch it, quotes the whole thing. So now we don't watch it.
So what other movies have you seen? Oh, we're going to go back to The Nun, because I went to watch that a couple of weeks ago, and we did a little bit of a review last week on it. Have you guys seen that movie?
The new Nun? No, I have not seen it.
I have not seen it either.
Normally, here's the thing about the Nun movies, the Conjuring movies, stuff like that. Like, I love horror movies. I've got a half sleeve full of horror movie characters. When it comes to like movies about stuff that could legitimately happen to me, that's when they become scary. Like, no way ever is Michael Myers going to kill me. But there's a good chance that I'll be in a location and a demonic nun's going to come out and tear my face open. So I'll watch it eventually. My wife and I have been big on I don't know if you've seen it yet, the Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.
I've just literally, Mark and I started watching that on Friday, and it was like, he's not interested in anything like that. So I thought I'll just have a bit of a binge fest over this week whilst my kids are away on holiday. So I'm literally, as soon as we've done tonight, I'm going to put episode 2 on, and then I might watch a couple back to back, I think.
Yeah, we finished it last night. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews about it, though. There's a lot of people out there who keep on saying, yeah, it's really, really good. And then some of the people saying, oh, it's quite boring, actually. But the jury's out. That's what I'm going to say. I'm sitting on the fence, I think, with that.
Well, I'm going to say it's probably the best show Netflix has ever put out.
Well, if you're saying that, then it must be good.
It's fantastic. It's got all the right elements of horror, suspense, and it's got a fantastic story behind it.
Yeah, have you managed to spot the hidden ghosts and things like that? Because I know there was a big story about it when, the quick, where the camera pans really quickly and you miss the ghosts and things like that. Have you seen those?
I saw the article from BuzzFeed today that showed all 29 of them. So yes, I saw.
Yeah, I tried not to read it. I saw one picture and I was like, no, not read it anymore. I don't want to see where they are.
It's I'm gonna tell you right now. Wait till episode 5. Episode 5 is gonna blow your mind.
Well, I'm going to. I might have to sit up actually and watch all of those. I've got probably 3 episodes to go, so I'm only on the second one. So I've only managed to watch the first one. So yeah, that should be pretty cool, I think. But you guys, I can't believe you've worked and you've come on the show tonight. So I just really want to say thank you for coming on and for sharing, your experiences and what you guys are doing. And, I'd love to, when you have announced everything that you're going to be doing, we'd really love to have you back on the show and have Gemma chatting with you as well, because I know she's not very happy that she's missed tonight. But yeah, would you guys come back on and tell us what you have in the pipeline when you've announced it?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
So we can get we'll get your UK fan base up and running, I think. But yeah, anything that we can share on Phantasmic Paranormal's page for you, then just send me an inbox or anything like that, and we'll happily, promote your stuff as well. So
I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, and hopefully Gemma and I may see you one day in the US, and that may be very soon as well. So keep your eyes peeled, because we've got an announcement of our own coming soon. So
we're excited to hear it.
It's exciting. It's exciting times for both our teams, I think. And obviously, hopefully, we will get to America, and hopefully, we will be down seeing you guys.
That would be awesome.
That'd be fantastic.
But you guys, thank you so much from Kerry and myself in the studio, and obviously Gemma, who can't be with us. So you guys, I hope you finish work and you get home to your families safely. And thanks for chatting with us.
Hey, we appreciate y'all having us on.
No worries. So take care, guys.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows.
Matthew Fiole and Kasey Boatright from Gateway Paranormal. So they have events coming up. If you're in their region, which is in Tennessee, they have the funeral reenactment. So head over to their Facebook page, and that's Gateway Paranormal. You can check us out on Facebook, Phantasmic Paranormal. We also Parasearch Radio. And to be honest, I've actually missed Gemma this evening. It's been very, very strange doing this radio show on my own. And I know Gemma's done a show on her own whilst I was away in Madrid. And it is very, very nerve-wracking. But the guys are fantastic anyway, and they have so much to say. And it's just been interesting to see how a group over from the US actually works differently, and what they've actually captured evidence-wise, which is amazing, because we don't usually hear that. And we don't usually have an awful lot of friends who come on from America, because our show's on at 9 o'clock here, which means it's 4 o'clock over in America. But like we say, it's an amazing opportunity for those guys to introduce themselves to the UK market, but also their exciting plans for the future. And, you know, they don't look mean. They don't, you know, they are great lads. And, you know, it's going to be a pleasure to watch them grow and to succeed in all of their opportunities. So good luck to the guys. But I think that's everything from myself for tonight. So thank you so much for listening to the Supernaturelle show. And next week, I am hoping to have my little sidekick back and fit and healthy and talking, because when she's not talking, she's not bashing my ear in. But I want to say thank you to Kerry in the studio for looking after the studio for us. And it's a good night from me.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.